everyone, India's wearable tech market is booming. It is fast and competitive, but very few brands have managed to cut through that noise quite like Boult. Now, in a bold move, the homegrown brand has rebranded itself as Go Boult, aiming to reposition as a premium lifestyle and consumer tech player right ahead of its highly anticipated IPO. But why now? And what does Go Boult really signal to the consumers in this space that's rapidly evolving? Joining us today is Varun Gupta, co-founder of Go Boult, to decode the strategy behind the rebrand, talk about scaling from 800 crore rupees to 1,000 crore in revenues, and address head-on competitive pressures and bad faith tactics that are casting shadows across the industry. Varun, welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you, Shibani. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Varun, let's begin the conversation with your rebranding, which is recent. Tell us about the timing and why now.
So, we've been in the market since 2017 and we're the #1 rated audio brand in the country in terms of market share, with the second largest in audio and the third largest in wearable segment. However, as any category sees a lot of growth, we've seen the entire industry move downwards in terms of the average selling price. And because we're in a highly competitive, super competitive market, we have to ensure that we stay relevant and our market shares do not decrease. Thus, in that process, the entire industry, the ASPs have gone down, and thus now to actually change the game, we have really rebranded ourselves. And the biggest factor behind that is what we want to move towards premiumization. We want to set up a very clear, distinct brand positioning. And in that pursuit, we decided that we would rebrand ourselves.
Like with this rebranding, what do you want the consumers to associate Go Boult with? What should be the perception in their minds that you're trying to shape with this rebranding?
So Shibani, it's a very interesting problem that we keep on solving in our boardrooms and our jam discussions. In fact, when we started Boult, and then which is now called Go Boult, at that point in time, the media and the consumers used to be very different. And we could have one nation, one voice, and one positioning for the entire brand. However, in today's landscape, the landscape has changed. The communication, what consumers consume, their perception, they used to relate to big movie stars, and now they're relating to more smaller influencers. They become less loyal to a brand. They become more loyal to content, what's interesting, and it's all about entertainment, what they actually relate with. As a brand, we want to now stand out as a brand that's actually very relevant, that's very youthful, and more importantly, an aspirational brand that they can trust. We, being an Indian brand, now we want to tell our Indian consumers that we are an Indian company that manufactures all its products within India. Now, there's a huge sense of pride and trust in Indian consumers for products that are made and designed in India. And we want to go out and tell the world that we can manufacture in India and build some top quality world-class products. And in terms of communication, we want to be very relevant. We want to be at the doorstep, make youthful content so that
How are you doing that? If you can also explain that to us, like what is the way in which, you're making the brand look youthful, like, tapping on the influencers, the right celebrities. How are you doing that?
So it starts from the product itself. So for us, we as a brand are differentiated in terms of our design, and that's our biggest unique selling proposition. And that hails from not just what's on the outside, but it comes from where we and how do we approach our product. So we build and design our products by ourselves, and that attention to detail in terms of product development, an endeavor to actually make our product stand out completely different from our competition actually comes across when the consumers see our products on the internet. Now, it starts from there. Thereafter goes to our communication, our marketing, our advertising, packaging. At every touch point, from the product to actually the customer sales service, it is a complete journey that we have to cover and encapsulate and complete that journey. Now, in terms of marketing itself, it's about not initially when we started, it's about going top down, but now we go bottom up. We understand what cohorts of customers are where in what parts of the country, try to make vernacular content. We try to speak to them in their own language, as they say. As Nelson Mandela once said, that if you speak to a man in the language he learned, you speak to their mind. If you speak to a man in the language, in their mother tongue, you speak to their heart. So we try to speak to their heart. We try to be relevant.
In their language, yeah.
Exactly. We try to get more culturally relevant, socially relevant influencers. We try to tap on some trends that are very relevant to these consumers.
Varun, I'm curious to know, right after your rebrand, you accused, some of your competition of, pressure tactics using fake reviews. How deep exactly is the issue, if you can elaborate more on that?
Was absolutely right from day zero. In fact, we're the only bootstrap player and the only profitable player in our category. So we do see some mudslinging coming from competition, but that's something that's a part and parcel of the business. We see that an arm twisting tactics in terms of them posting bad reviews, in terms of them arm twisting the retailers and common partners in terms of either us or them. But it's not really a marketplace. It's not about us or them. It's about coexisting. And competition is great for the entire market. It helps the consumer. It helps us grow as well. But we do see some players actually resorting to some tactics, but they possibly might help them in a shorter run. But we focus our energies on doing the right things, gaining the consumer trust, and just putting our head down and getting the work done.
In this scenario, then how are you protecting Go Boult's brand integrity? How are you safeguarding it?
So, the biggest proposition to actually work on the brand integrity is to focus on the product, because consumers can hear a lot of noise around in the market, but what eventually matters is the product performance itself. And the word of mouth and their own personal experience matters and travels a lot more than any marketing message or a fake marketing message about fake reviews or anything like that. So we try to keep our internal teams motivated and tell them about the reality and be absolutely transparent with them. And in terms of consumer communication, we try to be truthful, transparent, and more importantly, just deliver a top quality product, and that does its job.
Sure. But in a market like India, it's often when it comes to retailers, and since you spoke about, arm twisting some of the retailers, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai.
Yeah.
So how do you ensure that your product is seen right out there as consumer walks into like a retail outlet?
So we were very late to the party in terms of launching in the offline channel. We started as a digital-only player.
Yeah.
We started with platforms like Myntra, Amazon, Flipkart, and thereby moved to all the e-commerce and quick commerce platforms. So we were last to the party in terms of getting to the offline retailers. We've already gone live at about 3,000 plus retail stores across the country. Initially, it was a big struggle for us to actually tell them to actually place our products on the shelves. But when we actually did that, they and us, we saw a huge amount of response. In fact, even before we got live there, we saw that thousands of retailers were buying these products on e-commerce platforms. They were waiting for deal days. They would place bulk purchase orders to actually buy our goods at a discounted value and thereby retail it to end consumers. So now we just have an official channel to go and actually talk to them and speak with them. And now, because we have an official channel, we're able to service these customers, be available at across all the counters. And of course, going omni-channel is the way to go for any consumer.
But now let's speak about business. 800 crore rupees revenue in FY25. And, I believe you're looking at 1,000 crore by 26. What are some of the ways in which you think you can achieve that?
Just to help you understand and break this down, these are excluding taxes revenues recorded in our books as the years 24-25. If you count the gross merchandise value, that would easily be about 1,400 crores. That's the money coming out of the consumer's pocket. And all of this, we're proud that being an Indian company, being a bootstrap firm, and being a profitable player, we've been able to penetrate over 3 crore households in the country. Now, we plan to now reach 1,000 crores next year, and that's a benchmark for us to go for an IPO. How? Number one is premiumization, because we now want to increase our ASPs from, let's say, 1,200 rupees to 1,500 rupees. And secondly, most importantly, we want to concentrate on the offline channel and D2C, because we're live at 3,000 stores across the country right now. We want to be live at 30,000 plus counters so that there's omni-channel presence, and that helps the entire brand in building credibility and legitimacy in terms of being available at all the counters. And lastly, we want to build a global brand, global consumer brand coming out of India. We as Indians haven't seen a lot of global brands in the consumer sector, while of course we've seen a lot of service brands coming out of India. So you want to build a global brand, but that will still take another 18 to 24 months for us to be present across 10 plus countries. But in the next 1 year, we see offline channel, our D2C channel, and premiumization as three big moves for us to hit the 1,000 crore.
And if you were to, let's say, launch an IPO tomorrow, Varun, if you can make us or help us understand what part of, your business, your investors will be really bullish about?
I think every investor looks at the biggest factor is consistency. Now, it could be consistency in terms of sustainability, which is financial sustainability, the fact that we've been profitable, in consistency in terms of what we've done. We've built a great product and been consistent for that in the last 8 years. So the thing that people and investors of any kind, which is institutional or consumer investors, are wary about is unpredictability when they're investing their monies into something. And we've brought together 8 years of being consistent in that factor. And secondly, of course, as an Indian consumer, as an Indian investor, you want to really put your trust in somebody who's making in India, who's designing in India, and lastly, building a global brand coming out of India. So I think these themes in terms of consistency and made in India, made for India, and made from India for the world are the themes that should resonate.
Yeah, and you'd also mentioned like a 2,000 crore rupees vision by 2030. What's, the single biggest unlock to make that happen according to you?
By 2030, we should be comfortably over 3,000 crores.
Yeah.
In fact, we could be much higher, but the focus is on profitability. And now, you rightly mentioned that what is the biggest lever for us? We see us going to international geographies. We do not want to spray and pray and launch in every product category and white label products coming from elsewhere. We want to be building products, focus on limited categories. For us, it's audio, which is headphones, speakers of all kinds, and smartwatches, and maybe look at and wait for some disruptive technology coming in the wireless and IoT space and go really deep in these categories and build a global brand which is known for this and not just a horizontal mobile peripheral or a computer peripheral.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today and thanks for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Shivani. It's been a pleasure.
Welcome. Tata Consumer Products is celebrating more than just pristine natural mineral water. It's paying tribute to the soul of Himalayas. This year, the brand unveils a deeply rooted collaboration on with 5 clay artisans from the region whose handcrafted bottle designs and collectible mugs are inspired by their personal connection to the mountains. From its inception to becoming one of India's most iconic premium water brands, Himalayan natural mineral water has had a fascinating journey. But in an increasingly crowded category with trends like black and alkaline water gaining traction, how does a legacy brand like Himalayan stay ahead? Is the rise of celebrity-backed bottled water brands a challenge or an opportunity? We find out from Partha Biswas, President and Head RTD Business, Tata Consumer Products. Partha, welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you so much.
Partha, first tell us, what inspired the artisan collaboration for Himalayan Day this year, and how did the idea of using clay artisans come about?
Okay, interesting. So, I'm sure you are aware that we go back to Himalayan on this Himalayan Day to honor the cultural legacy and to celebrate the region that we source our water from. So this time we felt this craft, which is lesser known to the world, this kind of reflects the same purity and that the harmony that we try to bring between nature and community. So it really gelled quite well with our purpose, what we had in mind. By doing this, we could bring out the local communities and their very specific creation. So we could capture the spirit of Himalayas in a very different way this time, just beyond the mighty mountains. Yeah.
Partha, on that note, also tell us, how are you giving back to the region that you actually source from?
Yeah, so it's been a journey. Every year we try and do something that is important to Himalayan, starting from promoting the local communities like this year, sometimes doing a little bit of a work in cleaning up Himalayan, some part of Himalayan. So, well, it's a very modest beginning, I would say, but because we source our water from there for Himalayan, we try and communicate and contribute in whichever small way possible, not only on the Himalayan days, but also other opportunities whenever we get it across the zone. Yeah.
Now let's speak about the refreshed brand positioning and identity. What's next for Himalayan?
We said this time it's not just water in the bottle, it's peace in the bottle. So we are taking you with the water to experience the peace that you find in parts of Himalayas. So that was the campaign. What's next? Well, we are putting a few labels, which goes with these artists, what they have created. We of course have our own ambition to take this journey forward in terms of expanding into as many parts of country as possible, as many channels as possible, essentially to bring this peace in the bottle to as many Indians as possible across the country. That's going to be the journey.
Now, with trends like, the black and alkaline water rising, how do you see the premium water category evolving?
Well, so premium water category in India is still quite nascent. More and more competitors joining in, it's an opportunity for us. It requires a lot of education. This is not just a bottled retail water. This is way beyond that. There are clear health benefits when you consume spring water. Ours, as you know, is an untouched, naturally filtered, uh, pure Himalayan spring water that has its own benefit. I see all of us, we will keep educating our consumers. The category will only grow. I see we have a reason to lead because we were the first one in the country, as you know. And we believe that we bring to every Indian the most pure, untouched, authentic, transparent water sourced from only one location, which is pristine, which is sacred from Himalayas. So therefore, we have a role to play. We will grow the category along with others. And it's a good thing that people are consuming more and more water with clear health benefits. Yeah.
Also, celebrities are now getting into packaged and bottled water. One recent launch that we saw also gained a lot of momentum. What's your take on their growing presence in this particular space?
Well, so I'll take up the endorsement part first. I think this brand is all about, I'll go back to those three words, purity, authenticity, and transparency. I think if I can take these and connect with Indians, that trust building process probably is better than getting into endorsement. I think Himalayan itself is the star here. The sacred source itself is the star here. So therefore, at this point of time, at least, we have taken the decision that we will do a very different storytelling, which is related to the source, bring communities from that region, bring something which is not so known to Indians from Himalayas, like very small nuances that we find in Himalayas. Probably that is the route that we will take to talk about this brand and find a space in the hearts of Indians. Coming to the first part of the question, many people getting into this space, as I said again, they're welcoming change. Anyone talking about a category that we pioneered, it's a good thing for us. We only see that our role as a leader is, elevated. Now we need to take this journey forward and, give every Indian the chance to have any natural spring water and get those health benefits. Yeah.
Now, wearing a marketer's hat, if you can tell us, Partha, what are some of the biggest challenges in selling and marketing a necessity like water?
Yeah. So the first thing is because it's only one source, right? At this point of time, we have this one source. So as a marketer, it's of course, it's slightly challenging to get it at the right price to all corners of India. That's one. Second is, as mentioned about it, the education Now, this proposition is not going to be ever compared with, let's say, any other retail water that we get. We also have a few brands. So therefore, it is going to be premium, but you get value add by paying that premium. So that education is something which we all have to do. Uh, Third thing is, bringing out the real story, because that's what I believe consumers will, opt for and pay for. They would get to know through those stories. So I would not say these are challenges, but these will take a while because it's a nascent category. We are only few of us. We have started a journey, but we need to really teach, spread, expand, make it available at an affordable price without touching the core of the brand, which is one source, pure, untouched. Yeah, so those are probably the challenges.
Partha, also this year, summer was very, very short-lived. Monsoon came in extremely early. In fact, in May, regions like Maharashtra got their monsoons. So what has been the impact of, this short-lived summer on your business?
Seasonality, of course, plays a role in all in the lives of all beverage companies. However, we've been trying to make it as season agnostic as possible by having a diverse portfolio, which will sell throughout the year. For example, Himalayan water. This probably does not have much of a uh, correlation with how hot the summer is or how much rain it's happening in which part of the world. So it consciously we are trying to bring in more and more products which are season agnostic.
What is the kind of expansion strategy or any innovation on the horizon, considering how we have seen how experiential is picking up in a big way? Also, so many events are taking place, including the kind of concerts that we saw last year. So how are you, playing around and, experimenting around some of these on-ground events?
Yeah, so no, thanks. Great question. Experiential sampling is going to be our way to find a place in consumers' choice making architecture. For example, this time when Hyderabad Marathon happened, this is the second largest marathon in the country, we became the beverage partner. We not only sampled our water brands, but also our newly launched sports brand was sampled to all runners, and we got a huge thumbs up from all of them. So keeping these kind of events, which has some relevance to our products, we will use these events to not only talk about our products, sample it, take their point of view, but also kind of build a captive consumer base. So it's part of our strategy, and you would get to see it more and more with the right brand and the right pack. Yeah.
Well, Partha, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today and sharing your wonderful insights with us.